Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Abhay, and in this video again we are going to cover another mini project about Java object-oriented programming, and the specific topic that we are going to cover is inheritance. So what is inheritance? In short, inheritance is something that defines is a relationship between two classes. So if you want to know more about inheritance, then I have created a dedicated video for that, and link for the same will be in the description down below, so you can go and check that out. So I have created a very simple project where I tried to explain inheritance in easiest possible way through a mini project. So let's just try to understand the overview of the project. So the first thing that we have in this project is a class called vehicle, that, yeah, transport one. So vehicle is the parent class, and then there is a class called uh, car, or let's say ship, and train, or airplane. What is common between this class and these classes: car, ship, train, airplane? These are basically is a vehicle. So car is a vehicle, ship is a vehicle, train is a vehicle, airplane is a vehicle. So they share is a relationship between them. And then, to be specific, in car there could be SUV, there could be hatchback, or sedan, whatever. So now, what is the relationship between SUV, hatchback with car? Again, is a relationship. So any class that you create, SUV or hatchback, it should inherit from car class, and this car class should inherit from the vehicle class. And in this video, we are just going to cover the car one. So we are going to ignore the train and the airplane. So we'll just be revolving around vehicle, car, etc. So again, this is the thing that we have. Now let's just go a little bit in detail of what we are going to create in this video. So first of all, we'll have a class called vehicle, as I have already mentioned. And what is the properties that this vehicle should have? So the first thing that it should have is a name. Every vehicle should have a name, and then a speed. Every vehicle have a speed associated with it, that at which speed it is moving, obviously, which will be an integer, and this name is a string, obviously. So this is going to be a string. And again, the other thing that a vehicle should have is the direction at in which direction this thing is moving, and this is an integer value. So direction is basically the angle at which this vehicle is moving. So if it is moving straight, then the direction is 0. And let's say if you want to change the direction to 45 degree, so you change the direction to this 45 degree. So this angle is basically the direction. So now the vehicle is moving at this direction. So this is the sense of the direction property. So every vehicle class should have a name, speed, direction as a property, and the methods that it have is, the first method is move. So every vehicle should move, and what it takes the speed at which it is moving, and the direction at which direction it is moving. The another method that we have in vehicle is a steer. Steer, that means the you can steer a vehicle, right? So what it takes a direction, that in which direction you want to steer the vehicle. So this is the thing about vehicle class. And the other class that we have is car. And since car is a vehicle, it should inherit from the class vehicle. So all the methods and properties of vehicle class should be there in this car class. Okay, now what things that are specific to the car class? The first property that we have is car should have wheels. Now every vehicle don't have wheel. Let's say tank don't have wheels, at least they don't have the regular ones. So wheels are specific to car. So this is the type of integer, that number of wheels it have, it actually doesn't make sense to be an integer because every car have uh, four wheels. But again, just to be a property, wheels is a property of car. And then the other property is that the type of car this is, which is again a string value. Type of car is it could be SUV, hatchback, or whatever. Okay, again, and then the next thing that car specific have is the number of doors. So some, this is an integer value. Some cars have 2 doors, 3 doors, 5 doors, etc. And then the other thing that a car have is gears, number of gears, right? And then this value is also an integer. And the next thing that a car have is the car is manual or automatic. So there should be a property called is manual, which is a boolean value. If it is true, then car is manual, else the car is automatic. This is the thing about the car class, right? And the methods that this car class have is, the first thing is a car can change the gear. So change gear is one of the methods that we have here. And what it takes the gear that you want to shift, which is an integer value. So let's just call it current gear, which is an integer value. So if you want to shift it to the fourth gear, then you simply call change gear and you pass the value 4. And then the other, okay, let me just divide this thing. The other thing that we have is change speed. You can change speed in the car. Change speed. And what it takes an integer, and that integer value is the speed itself. And one more thing it takes is the direction, that in which direction you want to change the speed. So these are the two methods for the car class. And then we got another class here, that is, let's say SUV. You created a class called SUV, which will inherit from car class, because SUV is a car. So all the properties of car should be automatically will be in SUV. And as we know, car is extending from vehicle. So car have all the properties of vehicle. So here you can see we have multiple levels of inheritance. SUV have everything of car have everything of vehicle. So indirectly SUV have everything including car and vehicle. So this is called multi level inheritance. That is very common, and if you actually want to learn inheritance, then it is actually very common. So things that SUV just have, let's say, one native method, that is accelerate, that at which rate you want to accelerate your SUV. An accelerate method, and here what you have to pass is the rate, that at which rate you want to accelerate it. So this is basically an overview of our project, that what we are going to create in this video. We'll have a class called vehicle, car, and SUV, and it all actually makes much more sense when we start coding our project. So let's see how we are going to do it. So let's start with creating a new IntelliJ IDEA project. So simply click on the new project, and now name of our project. So I'll be simply calling it vehicle app. This is not the actual name that justifies our project, but this is the best that I can come up with right now. Okay, anyways, so simply press on this create button. Okay, so IntelliJ IDEA have created the project for us, and we have this hello world project. So if you simply want to run it, then you can press this green triangle. So it simply prints hello world. So here you can see. Okay, anyways, so the first thing that we have to do is we have to create the car class. Okay, not the car class, the vehicle class, because that is the parent class of all the classes. So for that, you simply go to the src, that is the sources, right click on it, go to new, and then we got this Java class. Click on it, name of the class simply vehicle. This is the name of our class, right? Okay, so as we have discussed, this vehicle have name, speed, and direction. So let's create that private string name, and then we got okay, speed is not in string, it is an integer value, so private int current speed, let's call it current speed. And then we got current direction, which is also an integer, so private int current direction. So this is the three things that we have. Now let's create the constructor for this. So how we can create constructor? You simply right click, go to generate. Here we got constructors, and let's select all of them and click OK. Actually, while initializing this vehicle class, we just need the name, so we can remove rest of them from the constructor and also remove these. So when the vehicle class is created, what we want is we want to set the current speed and the current direction to 0. So this dot current speed, set it to 0, and then the direction is equal to 0. So by default, when you create an object of any vehicle, its speed and direction will be 0 initially. Okay, so the first method that a vehicle have is the ability to steer. So public void steer, and as we have discussed, it takes the direction as an input. So int direction, this is what it takes, and it will simply change direction. So to this current direction value, we will add this direction that we have in this method as a argument. So this dot current direction, we will add the direction, which is this, and then finally we'll simply do a print statement. So s out, that is system.out.println. So here we'll say steer method called, okay, and then steering at, and then we are steering at current direction, and let's also call degrees because this value is in degree, like this. Okay, so we are done with the steer method. Now the next thing that we have is the ability to move the vehicle. So public void move. Okay, and what it takes as an input, it takes speed and the direction. So int speed, this is the first thing that it takes, and then the direction. So int direction. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we will set the current velocity or current speed to this speed. So current speed is equals to speed, and then we'll update the direction. So current direction is equals to direction, like this, and then we'll simply have a print statement again. So this print statement will say move method called, and then moving at, and then the speed. So we got current speed, and then we also specify that in which direction we are moving. So in direction, the direction is current direction, like this. This is all this move method does, and the rest of the thing that we can do is we can set the getters and setter for all other properties that we have. So again, right click, go to generate, and here we got getters and setters. Select all three and click OK. So I again have doubt that either I'll be using all of them or not, but let's just have all of them just in case. So one one thing more that we have to do is we have to create another method called stop, that I have missed when I was explaining the overview of this application. So again, stopping a vehicle is a very important part of a vehicle. So we got public void stop, and nothing fancy. What just we have to do is we have to set the current speed to 0. That's it. We don't have to do anything other than setting the speed to 0 in stop method. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is we have to create the class called car. So again, go to the src, right click, new Java class. So simply select car, and okay, this car extends from vehicle. So it is showing error because we have to implement the matching super constructor. We'll do that in a moment. Before that, what we have to do is we have to define all the properties that are specific to the car class. So those properties are private and wheels, as we have discussed already, and then the type of the car. So private string type, and then the doors again are in string, sorry, integer. Number of doors is integer. So private int, we got doors, and then the next thing that we have is gears, number of gears, again integer. Private int gears, and then the next thing that we got is the boolean value, that either it is manual or automatic. So private boolean is manual. So if the value is true, then this is manual, else the car is automatic. Okay, one more thing that we should have here is the current gear at which the car is moving. So int current gear. Okay, now let's have the matching constructor. So you simply hover over the error and create constructor matching super. So this is the constructor which is from the vehicle class. Now we also need these parameters in our constructor as well. So the thing that we have here is wheels. So int wheels we have, then we got doors, we got gears, and then the boolean value of is manual, and then type. So string type, and we don't need current gear as a in the constructor parameter, so we can leave it as of now. Now again, this dot v type is equals to type this dot gears equal gears, this dot doors is equals to doors, this dot is manual is equals to is manual, this dot wheels is equal wheels, and the current gear, the value for the current gear is 1 as we instantiate the car class. So whenever an object of car is created, this constructor is called, and automatically the current gear will be set to 1 because let's say a car is started. So generally the car is in the first gear, either it could be in manual or reverse gear, but in most of the cases it is in the first gear. So yeah, this is the default value for the current gear. Now the functionality that we have discussed for the car class is, the first thing is we can change the gear. So simply public void change gear. This is the method, and what it takes an integer called current gear, right? And then the value, what that we have to do is we will be changing the value of this current gear. Okay, let's call it new gear. So we have proper naming convention here. So this dot current gear, and the value will be changed to new gear like this. And then again a simple print statement saying that the gear is changed. So change gear method is called, change gear method called and changed to, and then this dot current gear, and then this is the gear number, like this. And the another method that we have discussed is we can change the speed. So public void change speed. What it takes the speed that the new speed and the new direction. So int new speed and int new direction, like this. And when change speed is called, what we have to do here is, if you go to the vehicle class, here you can see here I have method called move. So what move is doing, it is setting the current speed and the current direction. So we simply have to call this move method. So here we got move. Since we have inherited the vehicle class, so we can access this move method. Now the speed is new speed, and then we got new direction, and then again a simple print statement here that change speed method is called, change speed method called, so we got change to, and then okay, change speed method is called, and then here speed. So speed that we have here is new speed, and then direction that we have here is new direction, just like this. So I guess we are pretty much done with the car class. So the next thing that we'll be doing is we'll be creating another class called SUV, which is a type of a car. So go to src, right click, new, we got Java class, and let's call it SUV. Okay, and this will extends from car, like always. Okay, okay, let's have the matching constructor. So create constructor matching super, and here we got. So first of all, wheels. So we obviously always have 4 wheels, so we don't actually need it as a constructor parameter. So let's have it 4, and number of doors that as you we have. So generally it have 5 doors. So again, we don't need that in the constructor, so set it to 5. And number of gears, okay, let's leave it whenever we are instantiating SUV, then only we'll define number of gears. Is manual, okay, we'll define it there only. And type is simply an SUV. Okay, so these we don't need, wheels, doors, so you can remove it. Also we don't need type, because we are already hard coding these values whenever SUV class is created, the object of SUV is created, right? So the thing that is specific to this SUV is it can accelerate at a particular rate. Okay, so okay, let's create a method called public void accelerate, and we have to define a rate at which it will accelerate, so that will be an integer value. So int rate is the parameter it takes. So whenever a car or SUV is accelerating, then its speed is increasing, right? So either in positive direction or in negative direction. So when the acceleration, the rate is positive, that means the speed is increasing, and when the rate is negative, that means user has applied the brake and speed is decreasing. Okay, so first of all, let's create the new velocity. So int new, okay, new speed, actually speed, and this is equals to, we have to get the current velocity, the current speed, and then we'll add the rate to it. So we got get current speed, and we'll add the rate to it. And this get current speed is this method is all the way from vehicle class. So this get current speed is not in car class but in vehicle class. So we are accessing the vehicle class methods directly from SUV. So this is the multi layers of inheritance. So let's assume that this SUV is automatic, that is manual value is false. So in all automatic cars, what happens is as you increase the speed, the car will automatically increase the gear or it will decrease the gear. We don't have to specifically do that. We only do the gear things in manual, not in automatic. So let's assume the whole scenario to be automatic, and let's see how it goes. So if SUV is automatic, then okay, here is something that I need to explain a bit. So if speed is, let's say, between 0 to 10, in that case the gear is 1. And if the speed is between let's say 10 to 20, 10 to 20, then it will automatically shift the gear to 2. And if the speed is between, let's say, 20 to 30, the speed is 20 to 30, then it will automatically shift it to 3. And let's say 30 to 50, it will be in 4th gear. And 50 to 70, it will be in 5th gear. And after that the car will be in 6th gear. So this is my general assumption here. So again, another thing is, if the speed is 0, that means the acceleration is negative, and speed is 0, in that case also the gear is 1. Okay, so if here we got new speed, if that is 0, that means the car has stopped. So what we'll do is we'll call the method stop here, that the stop method is called, and we will specifically change the gear to 1 as we have discussed. So if the new speed is 0, then we should call stop method and change the gear to 1. Okay, else if if the speed, that is new speed, is greater than 0 and this thing is less than or equal to 10, in that case also it will change the gear to 1, because in first gear the speed ranges between 0 to 10. Okay, so again I can copy this and paste it. So else if the speed is greater than 10 and less than equal to 20, in that case gear is 2. So you can copy it and paste it. So this time this is between 20 to 30, it will automatically change the gear to 3. So I can copy and paste it again. So if it is between 30 to 50, it will change the gear to 4th. And again, if it is between 50 to 70, gear will be changed to 5th. And in the else condition, change gear to 6th. Okay, here one more assumption that I have made is I'm making sure that number of gears in SUV is 6. So what I can do is, instead of having it in the constructor parameter, remove this and I can hard code it to 6. So again, as we instantiate the SUV, it will automatically set the gear to 6. So this is the logic for acceleration. And okay, the core logic is still left, that is, if the new speed is greater than 0, that means user haven't stopped the vehicle, then we have to call the change speed method, because this is the core method that changes the speed of the car or the vehicle. So change speed, we got new speed, and Then okay, it also needs the direction, so we can simply get the direction from calling this method. So get current direction like this. So I guess we are done with this class as well. Now let's go to the main class and instantiate the SUV class. So remove this hello world here and let's create an object of SUV. So SUV, and now name of the SUV. So let's call it Fortuner. Fortuner is pretty famous SUV here in India. So let's take the example of that. And this is equals to new SUV. And then what we have to enter, we have to enter the name, and then is it manual or automatic. So name of this SUV is again Fortuner, and then either it is manual or not. So no, it is not manual, that means it is automatic. Okay, so the first method, let's say what are the methods that we have. So Fortuner dot, so the first method that we should call is we should move or this SUV or Fortuner. So Fortuner dot move, and then here we have to pass the speed and the direction. So let's say 440 is the speed, and a direction I want to just go to straight, that means 0 degree. So if I simply run this and let's see what happens. So move method called moving at 40 in direction 0. So this is working fine. And the next thing is let's accelerate our SUV. So Fortuner dot accelerate, and let's accelerate at the rate of 20. So we have increased it to 20. Let's again run our application and see what we got. Okay, so move method is called, this is the first method that called. Now change gear called and change to 5th gear. So the speed here is, and then move method called moving at 60 in direction 0. So when the speed is 60, so go to SUV here. So 60, that means we are in this range. So in that case, change gear 5th. So here we are at 5th gear, and then change speed is called, speed is 60 and direction is 0. So this is going great so far. Okay, here is a lot of print statements. We got tons of print statements. You can optimize it as your wish. I just have a lot of print statements so that it is quite clear to like what is happening. Okay, back to main here, and let's do one more thing. Okay, as we have mentioned here, the current speed is 60. So let's accelerate to minus 60. So car dot accelerate minus 60. Minus 60, that means the car will be stopped. So let's run this. Okay, so we got here up to here everything is same, and then one new method is called, that is change gear is called, and it is changed to 0. Okay, it is not clearly mentioned that the car is stopped. So one thing that you can do is inside this car method, okay, inside the vehicle method, when the stop is called, you can actually print that a vehicle is stopped. Okay, now let's run this again. Okay, so this time you can see up to here everything is same, then vehicle is stopped because the speed is 0, and it is automatically changed the gear to 1. Now let's remove this line and let's get the current speed and current gear and whatnot. So print gear, and this is actually current gear. And how we can get the current gear? We can get it from Fortuner dot get current. Okay, we don't have it like this. Fortuner dot, I guess we don't have the method for getting the current gear. Okay, if you go back to the car class, yep, here I don't have any getters and setters. So let's get getters and setters. So for that, right click generate, and here we got getters and setters like this. Okay, here we get. Now we can access fortuner.get current gear. So now if you run this, okay, so here you can get the current gear, which is 5. Now if you want to get the current speed, so you can copy it and paste it again. So this time this is current speed, and fortuner.get current speed. So if you run this again, here you got current speed to be 60. So this is working as we expected. So okay, here is a challenge for you. I have created this this video considering that our SUV is always in automatic. So if you want to change it to manual, so you have to write some extra logic. So you can try it on your own. If not, then hopefully in near future I'll be creating another video where I am going to cover that what if we opt to a manual car. So then what is the constraints that we have. Let's say if we set the speed to 60 and we don't change the gear manually, then it won't go to 60. It will stop to either 30 or 40 or whatever is the limit of that gear. So these are the conditions that we have to add. So you can try it on your own. It will be a great practice. Else I'll try to upload another video in near future to cover that portion as well. So yeah, that's all about this video. And if you like the video, then do hit the like button. If you don't, then you can hit the dislike button. You can subscribe if you want more such videos. And yeah, that's all I have for you. See you in the next video.